Okay, clips coming up here are a result of that last video I did talking about 6 density. Maybe that's what I am. So I've put together some clips from all my past videos, just kind of the way I see it as myself growing without all the little details. But some of the bigger events, a few clips from the bigger events of my growth, what I consider my growth anyway. So, first half will be stuff that I put out there before I knew there were other people like me. While I was still crazy and alone in the dark, is the first half. There'll be a clip of me just saying, now it's for the second half, intermission kind of thing. And then at the very end, I'll close out.
Book where you go in, you live, you die. You know, you're one of these flawed people, and so that's what I'm supposed to do. So I flipped towards the end of all things. I wanted to see what was happening towards the end of the chapters, toward the end of the book. And the more I looked at a particular life, the more I got pulled into it and then sucked down into my mother's womb. And so I was able to see the life I'm living now from the beginning to the end. I don't remember all the details. I have a ton of deja vu, that stuff that happens in my life, and now I figure out I'm on the right path. I'll get into that later. But I got sucked down into the book and became me.
And part of the problem that I had is seeing in people's heads. I put out a video about that, about seeing pictures in people's heads, kind of knowing what they're thinking at times. And I grew up like that. And that made it even worse. What was happening was people say one thing, and I'm also hearing another. People have two sides to them. I do too. People have two sides to them. It's just normal, the face they show and then what they're really thinking. And unfortunately, I could hear what they're really thinking a lot of the times. So there was a lot of negativity, a lot of hate toward gay people. And I felt that, and I saw that in people's heads, even sometimes when they're saying something different, including my parents. So it made things really, really confusing. There was one time that, let me go back to the seeing in people's heads part again. I grew up like that, and it was really difficult because I would try to reach out in people's heads and talk to them in their heads, and nobody could hear me, and I thought I was a moron. I really thought, why are people ignoring me? This is stupid. Why aren't they teaching me how to get a grip on this? Maybe I'm just too stupid to learn. Maybe I'm just a joke. So what I did is I went back to my bedroom and I laid down in bed, just laid down and looked up, and I knew by this point I could astral travel a bit. So I'm like, I'm done. I'm just gonna lay here and die, and that's what I did. I lay there and died. I'd let myself go. I went out of body and let myself go and went up and out and never planned on coming back. And right before I let go, I said, universe, I'm worthless. Is there anything you want to do with me? You go right ahead. Take this body, do whatever you want. I'm done. I'm done here. I won't, be a mistake here anymore. So this is all yours. This body is all yours. Do what you want. I don't care. So I went up and out and didn't come back. Didn't plan on coming back. The thing is, something else happened. And I'll have to get this into another video because it's a major part of my life now.
But as my body was laying there, I'm out of body, up above. And then I don't know if it was me or something else came into my body, but it was like something clear and crisp and clean and cool, and it just poured in like water, just into me. And I don't know what that was. I don't know why that happened, but it did. And everything changed. Everything became clear. Maybe it was releasing the negativity, but everything became clear, really, really clear. It's like, say, if you had heavy cataracts and they were removed, you're driving in a fog, and then all of a sudden the fog clears up and you see all the beautiful colors around you. That kind of thing. Or maybe I've never been colorblind, but maybe it would be like a colorblind person seeing all the full colors for the first time. It was like that. All of a sudden, all the colors became very vibrant. Everything became alive to me. Just everything lit up and became alive. And when I breathed in, it was like breathing new and different air. I'd never breathed before. Walking, it's almost like walking through water because the air itself is alive. Everything is alive. The dirt's alive. The trees are alive. I can almost see the life in them. The sky is alive. Reality itself is alive. And it was a complete change. I don't know why, but it was. Immediately, when that happened, everything started responding. When everything was beautiful like that and clear and clean and alive, I started talking to it. I started talking to everything. I mentioned in other videos, I talk to everything. I really do. I talk to everything. Just, everything I talk to. And a lot of it responds. And it's pretty odd. But I talk to it as friends, and it seems to respond to me as a friend. Family, you thought I was hiding the gay side of me. The thing I was hiding is this strange happenings side of me, because people can't deal with it. But it's time now, and I don't know why, but it's time. And so I was doing some bad things with it, some dark things with it, and I really shouldn't have been doing that, and I was. And I think I was being slapped down for it by karma, or whatever you want to call it. This was turning into a slap down on me, because I had done some things that were not great. And I was being slapped down for it. And it came with a fist. And it slapped me down hard. The problem with this nowadays is I guess you call it bittersweet. This is probably the best what I'll ever get in my life. It was amazing. All the operations, the regular shop floor workers gave this to somebody in safety, really. And the problem is, they really like me. Suicidal. During this, every day is a negative, and this went on for 6 months. So every day is eternity. Every single day is eternity, and it went on for 6 months, for a very, very long time. 6 months is a long time when every day is an eternity. So what happened one day, the way I got out of it, others helped me out of it. An outside force, these strange happenings type entities that are out there, I hadn't even talked about any of this that I talked to, they took action on their own and got me out of it, because nobody else could, no human could. Actually, I read up on this soul shattering thing. It's a Native American Indian term, soul shatter. Apparently they have a term for this. When that explosion like that happens and you see it in your mind, they call it a soul shatter. And you don't survive it unless you get outside help. Problem with me is my outside help, what didn't come from humans, didn't come from people, it came from these other entities out there. But this is what was coming through, and I was able to hear it. So I actually wrote it down, and I'm going to read it out for you, because it kind of blew my mind, because it was right there in front of my face. It was everywhere, and it's just like, okay, well, here it is. So I wrote it down, and I'm going to put it out there. So I put out that other video on, it switched from it's time to time's up. Well, here it is. I hope I heard it right. It's always be open and kind and gentle and honest. You're going to be able to avoid slipping into that trap. You're a living expression of the universal consciousness, a living expression of universal creation, here to have the experience. The only ones who have the authority over the vessel that you inhabit is yourself, and the Creator who gifted you the vessel for your temporary use. And then finally, it's very important that you realize the truth of this, because it's very helpful in realizing who and what you are. And then it came to me, I realized who I am. It was there the whole time, right in front of me. Here, putting it out there, I'm just me.
Okay, what you just heard was everything before I knew there were other people like me. All that you just saw is while I was still crazy and alone in the dark. This is just the way I put it. Moving forward, I know I'm not alone. And then I hear the word Starseed for the first time.
And it's a very good thing, because I'm not alone. And the thing that's been holding me back is believing I'm crazy, just take another step forward. I'm crazy, let it go. It's a coincidence, trying to convince myself of this all these years. And I'm not. I am not crazy, and I'm not alone. So it's feeling, my wife goes, it must feel comforting to know, you're not alone. It's like, yeah, it really is comforting. So this lady, I'm not using her full name or video site because I haven't got permission or anything. I'll just say HW1 Power 4 from Tasmania. And it's just like, wow. And I am not alone, and I am not crazy. And that's the thing that's been holding me back on a lot of stuff is I'm crazy. You know, just let things happen as they happen. It feels like chains have come off. It's like, really? The chains have come off. I'm not crazy. And wow, it's gotten stronger, a lot stronger. Let's start smiling a lot. I learned to forgive everyone for everything. Start off with simple. Because when I got the name Just Me and realized it's just me, and I talked about telepathy and how I'm hearing in people's heads and almost become them for a second. And part of that is, you have to realize that, I'm human. I have those capabilities. I am capable of what every human has ever done, ever is doing, and will be done. I'm human too. All the really bad stuff I'm capable of. All the really good stuff I'm capable of. Every human is capable of all of that. It just depends on the circumstances. So it's like, in at least that sense, everyone is me. And when I look at everybody trying to forgive everybody, it's just me. It's just me. I'm trying to forgive everyone for everything I am capable of. I'm trying to forgive myself for everything, and I think I did it. Wow. Like I'm two people. Most of you may be thinking this is like split personality, or I'm talking about my two worlds, my scientific world and this crazy little world of mine. That's what I'm talking about. Two minds of something. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about when it says it feels like I'm two people is physically two people in one space is what I'm talking about. I don't know that I can do it here with a shadow hand, but it's like, here's my hands, but there's also a second set of hands right beside them, or was like right beside them. So it's like I have four hands. That's what it was like. So it was like a invisible second me. There's this physical me you see, and then an invisible second me. At that last video, I'd mentioned that I'm accepting that the dark side of me. I hadn't really fully embraced the dark part of me in that dark side. And I think when I fully embraced it, it incorporated into what it felt like was everything was out of alignment, out of phase, and it really needed to be put back together. Because after I embraced that dark part of me fully, it's all one. And then driving down to the river, this armor started forming. And it's like, I have no idea what's going on. I really have no idea. It's just freaky. So, very freaky. God, there was something else I wanted to mention too. It's still a little freaky, freaking me out a little bit, but not too bad really. So now, even now, sitting here, I don't feel that second set of arms or anything, that slightly off-center set of arms, the ghost arms. It's all part of me, it's all one. But I am feeling an overlay of this deep greenish sparkling with silver. When those entities were fighting in my room, which I did see, I know this is all sounding mad and insane, and they stopped. In one video I said, because I'm not ready, what I actually said was something along the lines of, I need more time. It's almost as if I needed to make a choice between the two, if positive or negative, and angels or demon. Which one would you choose? I did make a choice, and I didn't choose angels or demons or positive or negative. I made a choice for that higher source. That is my choice. And that's when, weirdly enough, I never considered armor. This armor. I never considered I never was wearing armor. It just happened. I never thought about it. Not the single first time ever. And it just appeared.
and I came together in myself. In all these past videos you've seen, this is all my intuition going on. This is just me, my intuition. This is just the way things work for me, and I've had to deal with it. The last video, going through some dark things and working that out, and things changing and moving at the 11-minute mark. I don't know if you noticed, but I look up and kind of to the universe source that I'm tied to and say, what did I say? I sure could use somebody to talk to. And then today, that was yesterday I put it out. Today, a video popped up on YouTube. It's kind of like the radio crap, things just pop up, kind of weird, just so weird and strange and coincidental. But anyway, it popped up and I watched it. It's a younger person, probably in their 20s or 30s maybe, talking about this spiritual awakening thing that's going on. And they used a term I had never heard before. Starseed, S-T-A-R-S-E-E-D, Starseed. I have no idea, because in my Strange Happening #1, they say a lot of these people volunteered to come here. I didn't exactly volunteer. Sorry. If you saw my Strange Happening #1, I was kind of kicked out of the classroom for some reason. I'm a troublemaker, I suppose. I'm a troublemaker. I didn't jump up, raise my hand, and some of these people are like that. Raise my hand, volunteered. I volunteered to come here, volunteered. I'm like, I didn't volunteer. I don't think I did. I was kind of told to come here. I don't know why. Jeez. Okay, so I'm a troublemaker, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. But this is really weird. So that's the newest term I've learned today. The ebook I'm reading is actually called A Wanderer's Handbook. The ebook is 566 pages. And I'm still reading it and just got to a section. It just blew my mind. And I think I'm going to stop here so my mind doesn't get completely blown completely. Just stop at this point for a minute, for a little bit. I've got to stop a day or two or whatever, because my mind is completely blown. Okay. As I'm closing down the tablet, just had to add this in here. As I'm closing down the tablet, the last little sentence on that page that I had open, just talking about it on my tablet, closing it down, the last sentence leaped out at me as I'm closing it down. I couldn't close down the tablet fast enough. And what it said is, the last step to graduating is knowing that you don't know anything, that you just don't know. I'm like, I understood everything in this book, every single thing. I understood it. The funniest thing is, for this whole book, the methodology he used for testing the oneness of consciousness, raising the arm, pushing down to get a yes or no answer over everything, the method he used for all of his questioning, I've used before. What another synchronicity. In my past job, my main job at Bell Helicopter in the safety department, we hired an outside group of contractors, a group called Move Smart. I'll show a picture right here. Called Move Smart. Now with Move Smart, they were there trying to, they taught some employees, a group of employees, how to move better, make better judgments, better decisions in everyday life, to be safer in their job, that sort of thing. They taught us to be teachers. We hired them eventually so that we could teach the same thing. Me too. Taught the same thing. I taught, and that his test for this is the very first thing that we go through with employees, how to make better decisions. And his test is the actual physical thing. The first physical thing we showed our employees is this guy's test in this book. How funny is that? That is so weird. And then there's this video we watched saying, well, what's my mission? How does my science side relate to fighting these things that I see? And then it clicked. It's like my first job, I was subcontracted to the EPA investigating uncontrolled hazardous waste sites. I ranked them for cleanup, so the worst would be cleaned up, trying to protect the earth. by cleaning up these uncontrolled hazardous waste sites, dressing up in moon suits, taking samples, all that, trying to protect the earth. My main job after that was in the safety department as an industrial hygienist, trying to protect the people. That was my whole thing. I love the people. I wanted to protect them and keep them safe. It's like, protect. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's what I did on this Strange Happening side, was trying to protect. And then my job was trying to protect. And believe it or not, did you see that last video? If you saw that last video, I even used that word in there. For this soul family, I feel it was to protect. I put in there, it's like, I'll do whatever I can or something like that. I forget the wording, but whatever I can do, I'll do anything and everything it is to protect you. I used that word protect. All these videos have just been me learning, and this is just a few little clips I put together of what I consider myself growing, and I know I still will learn more, and maybe, I don't know, maybe things will change from what I've learned so far, but this is it for what's happening. And I am currently done with the Log 1 from this Aaron Abke guy, and I am watching A Course in Miracles now, and then I will go back and actually read all the material after seeing the summary.